Well, capital city lockdowns, border closures, all of them have taken a wrecking ball to business confidence, which has suffered its second biggest fall since the GFC. And it's not only that, as the worrying statistics, according to the Council of Social Services, more than 700,000 Australians subject to stay-at-home orders are receiving welfare payments. To discuss this and more, I'm joined by my economics panel from Sydney, founder of the Switzer Report, Peta Switzer, and from Melbourne business commentator Terry McCrann. Terry, we underestimate the economic impacts of Sydney in particular being subject to heavy restrictions all the way through to November. If we've got those sort of bad numbers now in terms of business confidence, what on earth is going to be like then?
Well, it's obviously not only Sydney, Peter, it's Melbourne and Victoria more broadly as a consequence of the lockdowns we've had up to lockdown version 6. The thing that we have to understand about this, it's not simply, and this is the most devastating part about it, as Peter would know very well, that it's not simply the impact of the lockdowns themselves. When you destroy business revenues, you force them to throw out all their stock if they're in the hospitality business. It's the uncertainty that is now being locked into business thinking because they don't know how governments are going to behave. They don't know how, because governments think, oh, lockdown is an easy thing. I mean, you had Daniel Andrews the other day in announcing the latest lockdown saying, oh, we all know what you need to do. You need to ISO, and it sounds like it's some sort of little, just tweaking the dial. He doesn't understand, politicians don't understand how devastating it is for business confidence on a continuing basis, not simply the lockdown itself, but the uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, he doesn't have to turn a profit to get paid. He doesn't have to turn a profit to hire new people. We're the poor old buggers out there doing all that, paying the taxes to keeping him afloat. Let's have a look at this property council data. It's office occupancy data, Peta Switzer. Just 12% of Melbourne workers are back in the office. That's down 26% from June. Now, that's the lowest level since the end of the massive 112-day lockdown last year. And Melbourne's a long way behind the rest of the country. Why is that?
Well, I think when you have repeated lockdowns, and remember, Daniel Andrews has had the toughest lockdowns. I know I was caught in one of them, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't walk any longer than 5 k's from my place of residence at the time, and also, the idea that I had to be home in bed or in my house by 8 o'clock. These are very serious lockdowns compared to New South Wales, where they are actually ramping them up now, but still nowhere near what happened to Melbourne. And I think, and Terry's hit the nail on the head, once you start undermining business confidence and you've got a whole lot of employees who don't want to risk it and come back to the CBD, it's just quite understandable why the values of office blocks in Melbourne and Sydney are going to be going right down the gurgler.